Good afternoon. Hope all is well with everyone's family. Feels good coming off a victory. Obviously, we got another big one this week. The biggest test is just making sure our guys are staying focused on the details, eliminating the distractions, and understanding what's important. And that's going out and being fundamentally sound and doing everything that we're asking them to do on the practice field. With that said, I'm all ears.
Eric, last week you said, hey, sometimes you need a little humility to get focused and all that. Is that as simple? Is that just the explanation for what happened in Tampa? You guys were more focused maybe this week than last week than you were the week before?
I think our guys were focused. They were intent. Sometimes when you have a new group of guys, there's a tendency to take certain things for granted, thinking that we can just show up and put on our pads and just go out there and play. But, everybody gets paid in this industry. So our guys need to understand that every time we step in this building, we got to have a reason of why we're stepping in. But on top of that, we got to have an intent on what we want to accomplish each and every day. So our focus is just making sure that we're not taking the day-to-day duties for granted.
Are you seeing what you want to see? I mean, only one day of practice so far this week, but are you seeing what you want to see?
I thought our guys did a good job of coming out yesterday and practicing. Now, obviously, there was some rust we had to get off, having the extra day off. But other than that, their energy level was up. I thought assignment-wise, we were good. Now we got another day of situational football for us. So, we'll see exactly what that focus is like today.
The offensive line probably had its best game all year. What do you think led to that in your film review?
Well, first and foremost, Coach Heck does an outstanding job with those guys, and he's obviously been the staple of our offense. Just the number of people that he's coached, those guys have great chemistry. We knew exactly what we didn't accomplish the week before. Those guys knew exactly what they were up against, so they took it on themselves and said, "Hey, you know what? Let's make sure that we do the things necessary to help us to be victorious this week." I thought those guys, starting with Creed, all did a hell of a job of communicating. I thought those guys did an outstanding job of creating some lanes for the backs. But on top of that, we kept the quarterback pretty upright.
Eric, is Travis's age, what are some things that he does to sort of account for the fact that at this age your speed starts to decline? What are some other things he does to study up and just all that stuff?
Well, one thing we do, we monitor his reps. We don't need to see Kelce every play in practice. But one thing we expect Kelce to do is to lead and be an example. So the thing that I appreciate about Kelce, first and foremost, is the coaching hat that he wears when he's not in there. He's coaching up Jody. He's coaching up Noah. He's coaching up Burt when he's in there. He's coaching up one of our younger tight ends, Jordan. And that's what's fun. But when he's in there, he's maximizing the opportunity. He's not taking it for granted. He's doing all the little necessary things that we're harping on some of the newer guys, to make sure that they understand the culture in which we built as far as finishing, as far as detailing, and understanding how we practice. And so when he does get an opportunity, he catches it. You'll see Kelce at his age catching it and taking it the distance. So it's not by chance that Kelce is making those plays on game day. It's because, first of all, he has tremendous work ethics and he works his tail off, but you see it every single day in practice.
Eric, Isiah Pacheco, what did you see from him this past week?
I saw what I've always seen from Pacheco. I saw a kid that just ran determined. I saw a kid that played hard, that played fast, and took advantage of the situation when it was presented to him. I thought the kid did a heck of a job. He's still a young kid, and the thing that I love about him is that he listens in meetings. He observes when he makes a mistake. He's very observant. He studies his mistakes, and very seldom does he ever repeat a mistake. So I thought the kid did a heck of a job. And on top of that, I thought the O-line did a hell of a job of opening up lanes, and then the guys on the perimeter doing some things in the back end, creating blocks so he can break certain runs. But the kid he plays with tremendous balance. He got a different type of juice to him. And so I think he just gives us something a little different from the other guys.
You talk so much about patience with him. Some of those outside zones he was hitting at the very end. Are you seeing growth?
Oh, yeah. And that's one thing. When you're playing that position, you have to be a patient runner because you just can't take the ball and run. We've seen that before. And so these guys got to have great vision, but on top of that, they got to understand exactly what's taking place with the blocking scheme and understanding how those guys are setting it up for him to read it.
Coach, along the lines of what Adam was asking about, last week you told us you guys got what you deserved at Indy, right? And, you know, the spirit or attitude or whatever was different this past week. Is that something that you see during the week? Is it something you see during the game? When do you kind of get the feel for what that week's going to be like?
You get a feel for it throughout the course of the week. Sometimes you just want to sit back and observe and just watch because you want to see how your players are going to handle it and react to it. Sometimes you just want to, hey, you know what? Let's cut to the chase right now. Let's make sure that we're all focused and we understand exactly what we need to be prepared for. So it's just a feel. We're around these guys 24/7. And I mean, we spend more time with these guys than we do our own families, unfortunately. You know, my wife is asking for more time right now, probably. But, you know, the thing is, you get to know the people. And sometimes you want to see if they're going to take care of it and address it. But more importantly, if it's not addressed, it's our job to make sure that we're taking care of it, addressing it, and making sure that we're getting focused in the right direction.
You all have created a real complete running back room at this point. How much do you sense maybe this year that intrinsic competition is motivating these guys even more?
Competition brings out the best in us. So I think those guys are motivating each other. They're feeding off of each other. You know, Coach Slew has done an outstanding job of working with those guys. And you have Clyde, who's doing a hell of a job as well. I mean, Clyde played one of his better games. He's doing a great job of accelerating through and finishing runs. First and foremost, this is probably his first year that he's been healthy in a long time. But on top of that, his practice habits have picked up. Okay, he's learning how to make second effort a habit. So it's not by chance that you're seeing those runs that are taking place on game day. It's because he's doing the same thing in practice where he's finishing, he's straining to finish and understanding the importance of, hey, you know what? Every opportunity I touch this, I got to maximize the opportunity regardless of what takes place up front.
Last two, Adam and Matt.
Eric, what stands out to you about the Raiders on defense?
Well, we can talk about 98, and we can talk about 55, and we can talk about 24. Those guys have the right temperament and right attitude. Those guys bring some energy, and they bring some juice. And that's not disrespecting the other 8 starters. I just know when those guys are going, that whole entire defense and that whole entire team is going. So the thing that we need to do is to make sure that it's not about the energy and the attitude that those guys are bringing. It's about the energy and the juice that we're bringing and understanding that those guys, they're going to play to the echo of the whistle. So it's our job to make sure that we're playing to the echo of the whistle as well.
Coach, you always mentioned finishing. You just did. When Clyde, Jarek, and Isiah are all turning 3-yard runs into what seemed like 7-yard runs consistently, just how great was that to see from your perspective as a former running back?
It's always fun when you see those guys having success. The thing is, like I tell them each and every week, anybody can do something once. It's about putting consistent behavior on tape week in and week out. Thank you. You guys take care. Thank you.